That's right, Mark and Brooke, take a look at this. This lot is full of just garbage, debris, rubble. Check out some of this. We just have an old board that used to be part of the house. Here's a sign. Who knows where this came from? There's just bricks, burned wood, all of this. And neighbors tell me it has been sitting here for the past 11 months. They say that it's a hazard and that it's dragging down property values. And they just want all of this cleaned up and gone once and for all.
Wooddale Drive, a cozy suburban neighborhood in northwest Dayton, except for one thing.
Oh, it's definitely an eyesore.
A lot full of rubble and trash.
It's very difficult to come home and enjoy being at home when you have something like that next door.
Neighbors say it's a mess.
It's a big eyesore. The city haven't really done anything to it. And then the last owner didn't do anything either.
At one point, this messy lot had a home, but the house caught fire months ago and was left unlivable. City crews razed the charred structure as part of an emergency demolition, but not everything was cleaned up.
We're just hoping that somebody would do something soon. You know, we thought when they knocked it down that that they would remove the scraps from the area, but they just left everything there.
What's left of the home's basement, full of charred wood, insulation, bricks, and other remnants. Garbage, including old tires, a broom, cleaning supplies, and plastic cups are mixed in with the mess.
It's horrible. It's really horrible. And I think that's why a lot of people were trying to sell their homes and get away from here.
Dayton Housing Inspection Division Manager Shauna Hill says unsightly lots like this one are an all too common problem around the city.
It is a considerable issue.
And this particular lot has been on the city's radar for some time.
It is a problem, and I understand why they would be upset about it. But I want them to understand that we are not unaware of the issue, and we are addressing it as timely as we can.
So what's taking so long to clean it up? Hill says there's a lot of red tape and legal hurdles the city has to clear before they can move in and take action.
It is actually number 17 on the demolition list.
She said this property is bank-owned, and the city has to work with the owner to clear the lot for demolition. And with more than a dozen other properties on the demolition list ahead of this eyesore, Hill says it may take a while before this lot is cleared.
It's not in the batch that is going out in the next couple of weeks, but we anticipate by summer we'll have it'll be under contract to be completely demolished.
Neighbors say they just want it gone.
It just that everybody don't want to drive by and see this. It kind of devalues the neighborhood a little bit. If it seems like no one wants to take care of the property, no one wants to live here.
And we, of course, will continue to follow up on this property and the city's plans to completely demolish it this summer. Live in Dayton, Dana Smith, 2 News, working for you. Your home is supposed to be your most safe, most personal space, but what if it's not as secure as you might think? In fact, it could be the perfect target. You set your alarms and you lock your doors, but housebreakings continue to be a problem. So what can you do to avoid becoming a target? We decided to ask someone who might know best.
They're everywhere. People everywhere look for opportunity, people you least suspect. And you don't even know they're watching you. They've been watching you for, days or weeks.
Police arrested 22-year-old Billy for breaking and entering. He spent a month and a half in county jail. Although we're concealing his identity, he's not afraid to share what criminals look for when targeting a home.
Right, anybody can become a victim.
Billy said criminals will stake out a home for days or weeks, watching your routine, waiting for the right moment to strike.
And they see how many people come in and out the house at a time and how many people live there. And they see you leave and they don't think anybody else is around and they're going to go in.
Homeowner and mother of 3, Lindsay Kelly, says she does what she can to keep her young family safe.
You just never know when something could happen to you or it could happen to somebody that you know.
Kelly says her neighborhood has seen a recent spike in car break-ins and mail theft. Police are investigating a suspected burglary at a home just 2 doors down.
We had the security camera installed for the front door and the back door after a couple different instances throughout the summer. It kind of gives me a peace of mind.
And if you're planning on traveling this holiday season, there's some common mistakes Billy says homeowners should avoid.
You see the grass overgrown, or you see all kinds of mail on the porch or in the mailbox overflowed, or the car ain't been there for a while, or there ain't been no lights on weeks at a time. That's what makes a house vulnerable.
And if you're going holiday shopping, Billy says you might want to keep this in mind.
They leave their presents in the car, or they're not there and somebody sees them in the house, they break the window or something, get them and take off.
With the holiday season fast approaching, Kelly says she's going to be sure to take extra care to secure her property and valuables to avoid becoming a target of crime.
I've been making sure just to get mail out of the mailbox every day rather than every other day or every 2 days. And then obviously just making sure the doors are locked at night and that we have lights on, make it look like people are home.
All things Billy says will make a criminal think twice.
Just keep some lights on, or have your neighbors watch it real good or something like that, you know what I mean? Or just come by every now and then so nobody don't see nobody there all the time.
Billy says open or damaged windows or doors also make homes an easy target. And if you're going to be home this holiday season, it might be a good idea to switch up your routine just in case. Billy is currently in a county intervention program. Reporting live, Dana Smith, 2 News, working for you.
Doctors say the cords present a strangulation risk. A new study led by a Columbus-based doctor says between 1990 and 2015, nearly 1,700 young children were hurt by window blinds and almost 300 died.
Simbi Wilson, a grandmother to a 4-year-old girl, said she never really thought window blinds could pose a danger to children. But now that she's heard about the study, it's on her mind.
And I could see, with them running to the windows or even playing with that little thing on the side, pulling it, they can get caught up in there, and that could be dangerous if they're unattended to.
A new study from Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus found that cords have killed 271 children since 1990. The study recommends a complete ban on the cords. Lead author Dr. Gary Smith said the highest risk group are children between the ages of 1 and 4.
This is when they gain mobility, they're toddlers, they're curious, they explore their environment, but they have no idea what's dangerous. Within minutes, they're going to strangle, and often they don't make any noise because they can't move any air.
Jessica Saunders of Dayton Children's Hospital called the cords a hidden danger that can be found in every home.
They don't know any better to not play with cords and string, and they can't really sense danger. So first of all, just always look around your house and know what your house may or may not have. With or without the law being there, there is always a problem with these type of cords.
But Saunders said there are some things you can do to keep kids safe, like purchasing cord wind-ups. They allow you to wrap the cord around a hook out of the reach of curious toddlers. Wilson said now that she knows the risks, she'll take care.
Yes, I will. My granddaughter's mother, my niece's cousins, everybody with children in my family, I will tell them to be on the lookout for that and monitor the children at all times.
The Window Covering Manufacturers Association says it's working towards a safety standard for manufacturers to go cordless or have inaccessible cords. Dana Smith, 5 on 2.
It's something we've all seen on TV and in movies. Someone dramatically clutches their chest and staggers against a wall.
In the United States, it's the #1 killer, I guess one would say, of both men and women.
But there are an array of other symptoms that can signal a heart attack, especially for women.
I felt uneasy. It just, something wasn't right.
Natasha Luster cares for scores of patients in her job in the surgery suite at Miami Valley Hospital. But last summer, the shoe was on the other foot.
It was in my chest, but at 37, you just don't really think, and I'm a nurse.
Luster had just finished a morning workout. At first, she thought the uneasy feeling could have been something else.
More commonly, women can have atypical symptoms, how you would describe it.
Premier Health cardiologist Dr. George Broderick says although chest pain is a common sign of a heart attack for both men and women, there are other symptoms that can also spell danger.
It's easy when the symptoms sound more classical, the pressure, heavy, tightness situation, but you're right. Other symptoms, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, headache, really an exhausted sensation you can't explain, and all of a sudden some doctor's telling you, hey, you're having a heart attack.
The American Heart Association says many women who've had heart attacks experienced no chest symptoms. Other symptoms include pain in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw, or stomach, and breaking out in a cold sweat. Of course, the hallmark symptom is uncomfortable pressure or pain in the center of your chest.
It's so important because 1 in 3 women are affected. That's 1 in 3 of our mothers, sisters, friends that are affected by this disease.
Luster wound up in the ER. Doctors there cleared the blockage in her heart with a stent, a tube that keeps arteries open. And they gave her a big goal: stress management.
As a mom, as a wife, as a nurse, as a manager, sometimes you put everyone else before you. And so what I had to take away was really learning that balance.
Brooke, officials over at the Huber Heights Fire Department tell me accidents involving ambulances happen more often than you might think.
In Warren County on Friday, police say a pickup truck hit an ambulance head-on. The ambulance flipped onto its side. Dale Bodorf was riding in the front seat of the ambulance. His wife was the patient in the back.
Just unbelievable. I mean, the circumstances are just unbelievable. Who gets in an ambulance and thinks you're going to have a wreck? You know, that's supposed to be your life support, not your demise.
Over at the Huber Heights Fire Department, firefighter and paramedic Corey Gebhardt says safety on the road is always a concern.
There's definitely a trust between us and as partners. You expect them to get you there safe, but people pull out in front of us all the time. They've had to lock the brakes up. So when you're in a bad position in the back, it's easy to lose control and get hurt or fall or anything like that.
The department has recently upgraded its ambulance fleet to include safety harnesses for paramedics to replace the old seat belts.
And one of the problems that paramedics have in the back of a medic is that they're there to take care of a patient, and our old straps would not allow you to wear a seat belt and take care of the patient. With the new system, you can actually strap in and you can still perform patient care functions.
Battalion Chief Keith Nisley said there have been instances where Huber Heights ambulances have been hit, bumped, and in one case, even T-boned by another driver. And it's not just paramedics who are put at risk when that happens. In the new ambulances, the patient cot is also secured.
If the medic were to roll over on its side or on its top, the cot and the patient properly secured in the cot would no longer be a projectile in the medic. Just like the paramedic being in the back of the medic wearing his shoulder restraint system, the paramedic would no longer become a projectile.
I reached out to the Lebanon Fire Department about that crash in Warren County to ask what safety features, if any, were on that ambulance, but they have not yet returned requests for comment. Reporting live, Dana Smith, 5 on 2. Mark and Brooke, I spoke with a Miami Township police officer who told me 911 hang-ups are addressed on a case-by-case basis, but they are taken just as seriously as any other call.
When it comes to 911 hang-up calls, Sergeant Jason Etter says it's up to dispatch to determine if officers will be sent to the scene.
They will attempt to call the number back to verify if there is a problem or if it was a child playing with the phone, etc. A lot of the calls are weeded out by them before they ever get to us.
But if dispatch hears some sort of disturbance, police will be sent out, especially if there have been 911 calls from that location in the past.
A lot of it comes to play, too, on what is the history of that address.
In Westerville, police had previously gone to the home before, but no arrests were ever made. The Associated Press reported officers were dispatched for domestic disputes 3 times since last September. Here in Miami Township, Etter says if police have responded to a home before on a medical request or domestic incident, they'll go again.
We'd like to say that, we treat all calls as they would be serious. However, when you've done this job for a while, a lot of people will start getting a little more lackadaisical, and if it's just oh yeah, we're coming out here on the same type of call we've been on before, you let your guard down, but then that's when things can happen too.
And Etter noted Miami Township's enforcement area does include places like the Dayton Mall and other businesses and even retirement communities, which often have their own private security. And he said if a 911 hang-up comes from any of those places, usually security will go and check it out first to determine if police should get involved. Reporting live, Dana Smith, 2 News, working for you. That's That's right, Mitchell. An Ohio State Highway Patrol officer that I spoke to said he wasn't surprised by the findings because speed is a common factor in car crashes, but he said ultimately it's up to the drivers to be cautious.
Crashes on 70-mile-per-hour roads have jumped 24%. Fatal and injury crashes have increased 22%. Speed limits were raised to 70 miles per hour 4 years ago, back in 2013. The study by the Ohio Department of Public Safety compared data in the 2 years before the change to the 2 years after the change.
We all kind of anticipated some level of increase in crashes, only because when you're traveling faster, the distance that you're following needs to increase. The amount of time it takes to stop increases.
Ohio State Highway Patrol Sergeant Jeff Kramer says although higher rates of speed do play a role in crashes, he said as long as you're following the speed limit safely, there shouldn't be a problem. He said most fatalities and crashes are caused by drivers making bad decisions.
All the crashes happen because a driver decides improperly to do something, whereas improperly decide to drive fast, drive reckless, drive aggressive. I mean, those correlations of fatals really relies upon the driver.
Now, Sergeant Kramer told me crashes also tend to happen when drivers don't slow down when traveling from a 70-mile-per-hour zone to a zone with a lower speed limit. For example, if you're approaching the city of Dayton on I-75 right here behind me, you're going to see a drop in speed. And Sergeant Kramer said it's important to pay attention to those signs. Reporting live, Dana Smith, 2 News, working for you.